Hey, how's it going? I'm just out for a nice walk, as you can see. Lucky to live in a very beautiful area. Bit of a view down there, but it's sort of not high enough to see it right now. I'm just about to go into the bush and have a nice little stroll, and I thought I'd take you along with me. And what I'm interested in doing here is sharing presents. What does that mean? Well, it means connecting on the deeper level. It means connecting on the deeper level. Nature is a great way to do that. Connecting with nature helps us connect with ourselves on a deeper level, which is lovely. So, connecting with nature is a great thing. When we connect with each other, we're also connecting with ourselves on a deeper level. If we truly connect with each other, it's necessary to connect with oneself as well on the deeper level. And so this whole business of connecting with oneself on a deeper level is pretty essential to living a full life. I'd like to invite you, wherever you are right now, to take a breath with me. Taking just a single breath can be a really fantastic way of connecting with yourself. So why don't we do that? Breathe in. And breathe out. Another one. In. And out. This is a very simple and useful tool to connect with yourself when you might not have this beautiful nature right at your doorstep, or even for me, since I'm so lucky, if I'm just in my room, we're not always outdoors in nature in this day and age, and living in the city like so many of us humans do. And actually, the breath can be a fantastic way to connect with our true selves. It's actually a beautiful way of connecting with each other as well, believe it or not. I had this wonderful experience with a close friend of mine. It was actually, I think, only the second time we'd met. It was at a party of a friend, and we were just talking about, breath and, well, actually, no, I think I was talking to her about eye contact, because it's a beautiful way of connecting with a person, eye contact, that moment of recognition when you're both looking in each other's eyes and there's not necessarily any thoughts happening. Because that's the moment where you can both actually see each other and you can see that you're seeing each other, right? The veil of thoughts comes away and just that moment, right? Like now. Nothing. So that's beautiful. So I said something along those lines, and she was like, yeah, and sometimes you don't even have to look in each other's eyes, you can just breathe together. And then that's exactly what we did. We didn't sit there staring at each other's eyes. There's a time and place for that, I think, but it probably would have been a bit awkward to do that. We just, in the peripheral vision, we could just see each other breathing. And we were breathing in sync, we'd synchronize our breathing together, I guess. And that was just a very beautiful moment. So breath is a great way to actually connect with each other sometimes. That kind of opportunity doesn't always present itself. I feel fortunate to have, I think, people that are on a similar journey to what I am. And we're all on the journey of life. It's just we meet each other at different places, and it's not for us really to know what place anyone else is at. It's just that there are these junctures where we can meet each other, and that's pleasant. I really need a selfie stick or something. That'd make this a bit easier, hey? So it's always good to have a moment where thought subsides. The words in the mind subside. And what's left? Pure awareness. Pure awareness is left. I love hearing the sound of the creek. It's a beautiful way. Beautiful tool to come into the present moment. Here, I'll just take you in closer. Gorgeous, isn't it? Very beautiful. just like you. Wow. So I'd like to encourage you to keep a bit of attention in your breath when you get the chance. It really is a wonderful tool to feel the vitality of your body get out of your mind. Because when you're in your mind, you kind of miss out on all this. And that's a damn shame. And look, I'm not saying I'm perfect, all right? My head is let's just say one sandwich short of a picnic sometimes, okay? To borrow a saying that my mum is fond of. So I'm not coming to you like some kind of teacher, know-it-all. Just trying to say, Just trying to say, take a moment. Watch your breath, appreciate your breath. It's a beautiful thing. And it's just one of many gateways into the present moment. Taking a walk in nature is also a wonderful gateway. I highly recommend. If you have a little bit of bush, if you're in Australia, you probably are. You got a bit of bush near you. Take a gander. I know it seems like there's not enough time sometimes. I go on for years without walking around this bush track that's right next to where I live. I'd like to share something that I've been experimenting with just recently, and I was doing it this morning actually, and it might be useful to someone. So here I go. Sometimes the mind is really bogged down with subconscious programming that's been drilled into us since a really young age, for whatever reason, And sometimes that stuff can really take control of your life. That's not fun. Sometimes it was, I guess from a psychological point of view, you could say it was adaptive at some point in your life, and maybe now it's not so adaptive anymore. It's kind of shit. And at the core of it, our true identity isn't any of that programming. It's just pure awareness. Which the good news is that we can change. We can become someone different to who we were yesterday. And that can come with a sense of loss, because it actually means if we thought we really were who we were yesterday, that can really hurt because it looks like you lost something. But what I want you to realize is maybe some of those things you thought were really you are not really you at all. They're just sort of, they're not you at the deeper level. So it might be a really good idea to meet yourself at the deeper level. So what I'm talking about here is basically releasing identification from beliefs about yourself. Releasing identification. So how am I going about this? How could you go about this if that's something you're interested in doing? Well, what I'm experimenting with, and I feel I'm being maybe guided to do this, is to enter the meditative state, right? And then set kind of an intention to cleanse myself of these sort of, all this sort of baggage that has accumulated over the course of my lifetime. So to give you a very kind of clear picture of what that might look like for me, and it might look slightly different for you, is I'm actually at a spot that I sometimes like to meditate right now. I'm on a sort of a rock overlooking a waterfall. Not sure if I can show you that waterfall. It's kind of behind some trees, so I can see it, but I'm not sure if you can. You can probably see it a bit. Maybe I'll take you down there a bit later. So what can I share with you? So yeah, like I am right here. I've actually got this little circle of rocks, which I found from another YouTube channel called Circle of One, I think it is. He's big into circles and he likes setting up little circles of rocks to meditate in. I got inspired because this is my little spot here, and these are some rocks that I picked up from the beaches as a teenager, and when I didn't realize that was not the right thing, not something you're allowed to do. Gee, king of tangents here. So this would be a nice place to do what I'm talking about. Just sitting at my meditation spot, but anywhere that's comfortable for you could work. For me, lying in bed seems to work. Some people might frown upon that because you might get into a bit more of a sleepy state than what some people might consider a meditative state. To me, kind of same difference. To me, it works. Because for me, meditation is about having probably a bit of an empty mind. So whether it's sleepy or not sleepy, as long as you're not literally asleep, to me it's okay. All of that has a useful purpose in terms of meditation. And mindful thinking could be good as well. Awareness of thoughts. So basically, what I was doing in bed this morning was this. Had my eyes closed, breathing, check. And then, words aren't necessary here, but I probably thought something around the lines of higher self, divine wisdom, God. Please bring up any thoughts, areas of resistance that that are not serving me, that are not serving my higher purpose, my life plan. Here, when I say life plan, I'm not necessarily referring to what I think I'm going to do. I'm talking about a higher life plan that might be sort of my purpose in this life. So leaving that a bit open to what it might be. So, just please guide me. You know what? You could even direct this to your subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, you know what needs to come up and be released. You know that. So please, whatever's right for this moment, let it come to my mind and be dissolved in the light of consciousness. I probably said a bit less than that. But whatever works for you, I think, is important. So picking the words that work for you, just be very intuitive. You might like the term higher self if you don't have so much of a religious bent, as kind of just a part of yourself that's has a bit of a better idea, you know? So then what do? You just sit there, breathing. All right? No different to just a pleasant meditation. Maybe you're not a meditator, but you probably know the feeling of just lying in bed without any stress, right? Maybe it's been a long time since you've experienced that. I know as a teenager, I loved waking up, especially if it was cold out, and just lying in bed under the warm covers with maybe some grungy kind of Coldplay playing. I don't know if grungy is the right word, but you know they have some more grungy albums. Those for me were great winter under the cover albums to listen to. And a thought might arise. something I'm worried about, something where there's resistance. And usually, not always, sometimes, I just sit with that thought and let it kind of dissolve. That kind of feeling, right? Sit with that feeling and let it dissolve. Just hold it there as a feeling in your body, maybe, and watch it dissolve. You might have a particular event in mind without any words, but you know what it is. This can be a great review exercise of like the last 24 hours. Let any events emerge into your consciousness that triggered you, basically. Any event that triggered some kind of resistance. You know that feeling in your body where it's like you're being torn apart, like being corded, right? With like horses pulling your body in multiple directions. Or it's like a burning, like heartburn. I don't know exactly what it feels like to you. But you can sit with that. Just being the awareness. And because if you've created sort of a very, hopefully quite a comfortable setting for yourself, it shouldn't be too uncomfortable. It should be like, because you're not in the fray of your life. You're more like a bit more detached, and you're watching it, and you're watching yourself detach from that, and it dissolving in the light of your awareness. Because what we have a tendency to do is to distract, right? You might be like me, and you reach straight out for the chocolate bar. And then another one, and then another one, and then you're listening to music, watching a show, YouTube. Instead, what you're doing here is you're not running away from it. You're watching the emotion. And when you watch that emotion, it dissipates. And often these emotions are fed by thought patterns. We sort of say these things that keep feeding the emotion and making it worse. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. This always happens. There's really no way out, because if I do this, it fails. If I do this, it fails. There's no way. It's a lose-lose situation. Nothing ever works out for me. We have all these thought patterns that sometimes they don't even really pop into the head. They're just there beneath the surface. Sometimes they really are very much in the mind. Very much so. And because they're so hopeless, right? That's where they drive to that distracting behavior, that quick gratification, because you're like, there's no way out. I may as well at least distract myself and get a cheap pleasure for a moment. So this is getting a bit long, I realise that, but I really want to continue sharing this because there's a bit more that I can share, I think, on this. So this morning, lying in bed, sometimes, along with that emotion of the event coming up, sometimes it came in the form of a thought, in the form of a thought instead of the form of a feeling and visual. Usually I had to go a step further though. Usually I would go one step further in the thought. I would look at what's the belief driving that thought very often. So I'd like to give you an example because that's pretty vague. So let's see if I can just find some area of resistance right now. This video is too long. People are getting bored. I'm stupid for filming this. Okay. So I can feel an area of resistance there. It's actually not a very strong area of resistance, especially maybe now that I've voiced it. So now I'm just in presence. Listening to the waterfall, breathing. People are going to lose interest and think I'm silly for filming this. I need people to like me and think I'm a cool person. Otherwise, I feel that I'm an awful person and I don't deserve to live. So see, I really picked the thought that was, I think, felt the most prevalent out of those three that I said first. I sit in presence, and then let the belief behind that thought come to you. And it might sound almost alien to you when it comes, because you would never say that to another person, or you're not likely to. So you get that thought, and then you sit with that thought in presence. And just like the way that you said it, that I said, it looks alien. Well, once it actually becomes conscious, you can look at it, and consciousness dissolves that thought, because it says, hey, look, shining the light of consciousness on it. Look, you don't need to believe this. This isn't really relevant. It's not really true. And it's really important here that it's really a two-step process. You've got the thought, the area of tension, and then you're in presence with that. And sometimes you don't need any more steps. It just dissolves from the light of consciousness. But sometimes you need to go a step further into the belief that's driving that resistance. And you'll know when you need to do this, because you let yourself be guided by your higher self, and you're in presence. You're in presence. And when you're in presence, presence knows what to do. So you sit with that, and your higher self that knows what's right and wrong dissolves it in the light of presence. So you just be the presence, and you feel maybe the ache in your heart and chest. You watch it. You don't have to keep repeating the thought. You just watch it. If you need to repeat it again, you can. But usually you don't need to do that. You said it once, and you're like, huh. All right, I see it. You don't need to say that. I'm just trying to capture what's going on. So let me actually just try and do that now. And then sometimes what I like to do is also to say something like higher consciousness, higher self, God, please clear out this belief. I hand it over to you, and I allow you to replace it with a better belief that does serve me, or just to take it out, and replace it with your light of consciousness. So sometimes I'll do that because I think the reason I sometimes do that is I'm a bit nervous that I'm not like just literally saying these bad thoughts as like affirmations, which I don't think it works that way in this case anyway, because I'm dissolving them in the light of consciousness. But just in case, I think it gives me a little bit of reassurance that that's not what I'm doing. So if you get that same anxiety that you're maybe making things worse, maybe that can help. I definitely developed this from sort of a combination of places. I actually have a friend who independently pretty much came up with exactly the same thing, and she so I guess we're on a similar path in that way. And I actually did steal a bit from her as well. It sort of helped me make a bit clearer on my own process. But it's always, everything's evolving. We use the tools that are useful for us at the time. But I also, I also took it also from, Eckhart Tolle, Dissolving the Pain Body, his teachings on that, and his business partner and life partner, Kim Eng, as well, has a lot about that. It's really helpful. And various other places as well that I've sort of taken from. For example, I think sometimes I say, like, in that meditation, I also say, I'm releasing identification. I release identification to this thought, to this belief, to this feeling. And that's kind of from Joseph Rodriguez, YouTube channel that I used to be quite into, or used to watch quite a lot, I should say. I hope this has been useful to someone. Well, I'd say it's almost been useful to me, so I guess it's enough in a way. I don't think I've exactly tried to be present in this video in the same way that I've tried in the previous two. Maybe the word try there is important. Maybe it's a good thing. Because I don't think that trying to be present is exactly the right path. That being said, yeah, it's different energy. It's been a bit of a ramble. I want to thank you for listening, if you've made it this far. I want to say I love you. I want to say that love is what you and I are made for. And really there is no you and I. As the Rastafarians put it, there's just I and I, right? And that's why nature is such a good way to connect with the self, because nature is also the self. You are not a body, my friend. You are the living universe. You are not small. Words can only take us so far, because words are just sounds. Direct experience. Direct experience is everything. I told you I'd take you down to the waterfall. Check it out. Pretty sick, huh? Can you believe this is just like a 30-minute walk from my house? If even that. Gorgeous. Promise you do, promise you do, will me. Promise you do, promise you do, will me. Oh. What a wonderful world, and I said to myself, what a wonderful world. I was talking to someone that I consider sort of a spiritual mentor for myself yesterday. He's the guy that I meet every so often at an Eckhart Tolle meetup that I go to. And we talked, and I cried. Sometimes I think crying is the essence of spiritual growth. I don't know if that's really relevant or true. I sort of think of Harry Potter. Is it the Tears of the Phoenix? Is that in the first movie? No, it's the second movie, I'm pretty sure. Is it when he's dying, the Phoenix? Does Harry Potter cry as well? I don't really know. I just remember the moment when the Phoenix cries and like, damn, that moment kind of hits you. G'day. I always overthink little interactions like that. I'm working on it. I want to live my life with an open heart. Sometimes those moments when you're crying are excruciating. But then they open you up to something beautiful. Those moments are very precious. And every moment that we're not crying seems like a moment that I'm not missing out. Sorry, I'm not fully present with the fullness of life. Not overcome with the beauty and suffering even, and just completely turned inside out, naked, vulnerable, exposed, and alive. I don't want to be a hypocrite here. As much as the next person, I'm concerned with security and reputation. I tense up because I want to be safe. I want to get that goodie, as the British philosopher and spiritual teacher whose name I can't remember says, or said when he was alive in the flesh, wow. What a wonderful day. Well, fellow travellers, our time together has come to an end. Keep breathing, keep living. Much love.